Hello and welcome to this week's edition of The Travel Show with John Guinn on UKHealthRadio.com. This week is a roundup of the travel news over the last 7 days, including the increase in pupils being taken out of school and the increase in fraudulent travel insurance claims. But before I start with the roundup of the news stories I found, I'm working on a story at the moment about the costs involved at going to an airport. With the Easter holidays coming up, not so long away, and you might go to an airport, drop a friend off and suddenly find out you've got to pay a charge for drop-off you would have thought would have been free. Or maybe you didn't take the right plastic bag with you to put your liquids in and you're forced to pay £1 or whatever for another bag. I'm looking into all the different charges around the UK to find out which airports could catch you out. So far I found that Norwich Airport has an improvement tax which you have to pay to get through security. So if you weren't aware of that, you suddenly have to pay £10 per person for everybody over the 16 or over. If you've ever been caught out by an airport's charges for trolleys or bags or drop-off, please do contact me at facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show so I can add it to my investigations. So let's make a start on this week's travel news. The first bit of news this week is the sharp rise in unauthorised school absences. According to government figures, almost over 800,000 children missed at least one day of school in England in the school year 2015-16, and this is despite the fact that the parents could have been fined for it. Back in 2014-15, 691,910 pupils missed one or more sessions of school, and in 2015-16 this increased to 801,980. Torbay, Bournemouth, Poole, Cornwall and Devon are among the areas with the highest percentage rise in holiday absence. Across England, term time holidays accounted for an average of 27% of all missed sessions of school. And a session, for those like me who have no idea, counts as a morning or an afternoon. Pupils in Yorkshire, the Humber and the north east of England lost the most time to holiday. The government figure showed the number of absences was equivalent to 1.5 school sessions for every pupil. In outer London, the figure was equivalent to 2.75 days per pupil. In areas such as Warrington and East Riding, family holidays make up almost half of all missed school sessions. If you're a parent, have you been taking children out of school? Are you worried about the fines? I don't have kids, I've no idea what the pressures are like, but as an ex-travel agent I do understand how much the prices increase when it comes to school holidays. But what do you think about taking kids out of school? Should it be allowed? Shouldn't it be allowed? Please post your comments at facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. Now we're moving on to Flybe, and Flybe has been fined for breaking data rules. It's been fined £70,000 for deliberately sending emails to millions of people who had opted out of receiving them. An investigation by the Information Commissioner's Office, also known as ICO, found that the airline deliberately sent more than 3.3 million emails to people who have already said they didn't want to receive marketing emails from the airline. These emails were sent in August last year with the title, "Are Your Details Correct?" and it advised the people the emails were sent to amend any out-of-date information and update any marketing preferences. The emails also said that by updating their preferences, people may be entered into a prize draw. Flybe was fined for breaking the Privacy and Electronic Communications Regulations, PECR, which sit alongside the Data Protection Act. These give people specific privacy rights in relation to electronic communications. ICO Head of Enforcement Steve Eckersley said Flybe broke the law by sending an email to customers asking for consent to receive future marketing communications. As an aside, the Data Protection Act 1998 will be replaced in May 2018 by the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR. The ICO said that companies will be reviewing how they obtain customer consent for marketing to comply with the stronger data protection legislation which is coming into force next year. And any company unsure of the best way to prepare for the change of consent should contact the ICO for advice. Were you one of the 3.3 million who received this email? How did you feel about it? Were you hacked off, or did you really not care? Let me know, facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. Insurance claims investigators are reporting a rise in holidaymakers lying about the circumstances of their claims to increase the chances of them getting a payout. The Special Investigation Units of Claims and Assistance Providers, CEGA, said customers who have their claims refused are then changing their stories in a bid to get the claim paid. Examples include when flights have been missed due to something not covered by a policy, such as poor timekeeping. The second application has been changed to something that's more likely to be covered, such as a puncture on the way to the airport. A spokesperson for them said that we've had cancelled holidays attributed first to passports not being renewed in time and then to illness. We've been told that bags have been stolen on from the beach when the policyholders left them to go swimming, and then, once they realised that unwatched possessions aren't covered, that the bags weren't left unattended after all. The spokesperson said claimants often produce false evidence to back up their second attempts when claiming, including retrospective sick notes and breakdown reports. The spokesperson said some policyholders aren't aware that lying about the circumstances of a claim is fraudulent and the penalties can be severe.
Hey Dave, it's your round, mate.
Yeah, my throat's drier than the Gobi Desert.
All right. Beers all round, yeah? OK, which one of you jokers has got my wallet?
Well, I haven't got it. God, he'll do anything to save a few quid.
Yeah, that's right. He's always had short arms and long pockets.
Seriously, guys, someone's nicked it from my bag.
If you lose your wallet, passport or tickets while you're on holiday, your mates winding you up will be the least of your worries. Keep your valuable stuff locked up safely when you don't need it. And if you're on the beach or by the pool, only take the cash you need.
For more information, go to gov.uk/knowbeforeyougo or follow us on Facebook or Twitter.
You're listening to The Travel Show with John Guinn on ukhealthradio.com. United Airlines refused to allow boarding of two girls who were wearing leggings, and this refusal was highlighted the changing culture of air travel in the USA, according to aviation historians. This incident set off a wave of online critics, with some calling out their airline for what they saw was sexist or old-fashioned dress code policies. Experts in the field of aviation said that the industry has transformed from the time from the act of flying itself was a special occasion and people donned suits and formal business wear to travel by air to a more casual situation. The online firestorm began when Colorado resident and anti-gun activist Shannon Watts took to Twitter to document what she saw was a United Airlines gate agent refusing to let two girls board a flight on Sunday morning from Denver to Minneapolis because they were in leggings. The airline responded to Watts on Twitter, saying that in part they had the right to refuse to transport passengers who were not properly clothed, and that the girls were past travellers, meaning they were relatives or friends of an airline employee and received either free or heavily discounted air travel. The airline said in the tweet, "There is a dress code for past passengers as they are representing United Airlines when they fly." The United Airlines spokesperson told NBC News in America that unacceptable attire for past travel included swimwear, see-through clothing, flip-flops, slippers, anything with holes or tears, and anything that reveals your midriff or undergarments and form-fitting lycra or spandex pants, such in this case as leggings. The spokesperson confirmed that the teenagers travelling with an adult were not allowed to board the flight. The Association of Flight Attendants, CWA, stood behind the airline's decision in a statement released to NBC News. I remember being on a flight where there was an incredibly hairy gentleman in front of me just wearing a vest. His hairy arms were touching other people and his shoulders, and it was quite disgusting. But I do appreciate that people are more casual in their attire nowadays than they were even maybe 15, 20 years ago. But what about you? Do you think there should be a dress code when it comes to flying? Let me know your thoughts. Facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. There's going to be a new air link between Scotland and the Isle of Man, and it's going to be operated by Eastern Airways. The regional airline moved quickly earlier this month to provide a continuation of services to the island from Belfast and Newcastle after the Isle of Man-based City Wing went into administration. The carrier will now offer a weekday link to the Isle of Man from Glasgow, and it will run from the 2nd of May using a 29-seat Jetstream 41 aircraft. And now for a little section on security. US federal law enforcement agencies have warned America's airports and airlines that they remain top targets for terrorists because of their symbolic value, inherent accessibility and the presence of large crowds in an unsecure area. And this is according to a US government memo obtained by NBC News. The law enforcement sensitive memo sent to the US nation's passenger airlines, law enforcement agencies and many of the US's nearly 20,000 airports reminds the industry that terrorists outside the US remain intent on attacking airports. Written by the FBI, Department of Homeland Security and the National Counter-Terrorism Centre, the 9-page document comes on the heels of a new ban on passengers carrying electronic devices on board flights from some foreign airports because of terror threats, but does not address that threat. The memo, however, does address recent mass casualty terror attacks on foreign airports and airliners, including the deadly airport attacks in Turkey and Belgium and the downing of a passenger jet over Egypt in 2015 via a bomb allegedly planted by ISIS. The threats in the memo include artfully concealed weapons and explosives loaded onto both passenger and cargo airlines, the insider threat posed by airport employees giving outsiders access to secure areas and planes. In addition, cybersecurity should be part of any insider threat program, which may include appropriate vetting of personnel with access to critical or secure systems and users with account management privileges. There's drones, of course. The memo reminds first responders to report suspicious drone activity. The memo also suggests additional security measures for the industry, including providing security training to service providers, such as cab drivers, cleaners, cargo carriers and parking attendants, to serve as force multipliers in identifying and reporting suspicious activity. It also recommends the use of additional technology to monitor sensitive areas. An example it gives is consider using license plates readers at key locations such as departures, arrivals and parking garages. And I know Luton Airport does have AMPR up on its private road. Use a guard tower or towers along the perimeter of the airport so there is an elevated line of sight on the airport's perimeter. And also the document examines tools airport officials can use to communicate with the public about terror threats, including a cell phone alerting system that can send messages to phones near and in the airport. As I said, the iPad and laptop ban wasn't mentioned in this leaked memo, but according to a British paper, The Guardian,